Dear Haley and Tanner, as we all know by now, the two of you are hyperallergic to emotional sincerity. This presents a unique challenge in writing an apology letter as well deserved as this one. If I didn't truly believe you deserved an apology, I would be using this as an opportunity for a creative writing exercise in which I further torture you with boar-themed jokes and puns. At the same time, the two of you appear so visibly uncomfortable whenever someone, or at least I, share genuine gratefulness for your efforts and friendship that I must wonder if a heartfelt letter is not a worse form of torture for you than the initial incident. Speaking of the incident, there are times in my life I obsessively focus on a mistake I've made, fantasizing about what I should have done differently, wishing desperately today will be the day I realize my superpower to turn back time and repair all of my misgivings in life. Historically, this maladaptive and juvenile coping mechanism is reserved for two types of events in my life: embarrassing myself fantastically and hurting someone's feelings. Yet after our prank gone wrong, I must add taking a joke too far to the list. Taking a joke too far stings in a very special way due to the unique building blocks of what a joke is comprised of: a setup and a punchline. Excuse me. To approach someone with gleeful excitement to finally share with them your punchline, only to realize the setup has traumatized them beyond any hope to appreciate it, and in fact disdain it, is a terrible roller coaster of emotions. By now, I have probably replayed different segments of our prank in my head 1,000 times, thinking of ways we could have improved the experience while making it less traumatic for both of you. I should have said their names in the beginning when they could hear us clearly. Then they would have figured out it's a joke immediately. We should have called them on the phone and made boar noises to reveal it was us when we realized we weren't catching up. Why didn't we pop out sooner? These are just a few of the ideas that kept me awake in bed that night. As annoyed as I was at this guilt-driven insomnia, I recognized the irony that my central nervous system had not triggered a fight or flight response, in my body that night, so I truly have no right to complain in a letter to the victims. However, I would like to state, if our shenanigans made it difficult for you to sleep that night, I sincerely apologize for causing that, in addition to my apology for the incident at large. And now, per your request, I will recount my memory of the night of October 25th, 2025. I wish we hadn't left the Mertz barn party at all, but we did. When we left, we were worried you'd finish your hunt and leave before we even arrived, so, using Haley's location, we hurried to Northville. The woods at Maybury were quiet, dark, and a bit tense on the way to the alcova trees where we would eventually find ourselves hiding. I was paranoid about you noticing us before we could find you, so I insisted the flashlights remain in our bag and that we speak in hushed tones. In the middle of our walk, we received a call from Tanner. At this point, in my needless paranoia, I was genuinely convinced you were onto us. I don't know how, I just was. I told Caitlin to text you a silly joke to throw off any potential suspicion. What, are you possessed or something? In retrospect, your voices carried pretty far throughout the park, so there was no need for such precautions, but it did feel like one of you could pop out of the trees at any moment to pull off a complete reversal on our plan. And this misconception did raise my heartbeat, or my BPM, just as it lowered my good judgment. Finally, we saw your flashlights through the trees, and Haley and then Tanner's voices soon accompanied, in that order, obviously. In a panic, we found a sorry excuse for a hiding spot off the paved trail and did our best to hide ourselves from anyone who would be traveling on it. Luckily, at the time, unluckily now, in retrospect, you were not on the main trail but on a dirt path nearby. At this point, I began making the noises. I will admit it is still very funny to remember your initial reactions. Had we revealed the prank at this point in time, I actually think our operation would have been a huge success. As you began walking away, I could have said your names in a more human-like voice or did my best nasally Chills impression. Had I said, number 15, Burger King foot lettuce, it would have communicated everything you needed to know at that point in time. There is no wild or injured animal in the woods, that this was just a prank, and that Caitlin and I are the ones behind it. But instead, as you walked away, I suggested to Caitlin we follow you for a little bit and keep making the noises before we pop out. In my head, I was convinced on some level that you must have known that this was someone pranking you, because what animal sounds like that? And how could it follow you down a paved trail making those noises if it's injured? Therein lay my greatest regret of the evening, insisting the setup continues past its point of amusement. I am 90%, if not 100%, responsible for this misinformed decision. We continued down the trail after you, nervous but excited, and yes, laughing our asses off in anticipation for a reveal. Anytime you pointed your flashlights back towards us, I was convinced you must have seen us and were now going to retaliate by stringing us along the trail to waste our time and never give us a chance to reveal our punchline. Knowing how scared you actually were at this moment, I actually feel so awful. I don't want to be a mean person, and I don't know why it didn't occur to me that two women alone in the woods could and probably should be genuinely afraid of a strange noise following them with no context provided. I like to think I'm generally considerate and self aware of my privilege as a man, but in this instance, a blind spot has been revealed. I'm most afraid that I've ruined one or both of your abilities to enjoy hiking at night. There's something so majestic and serene about walking on a forest trail at night, and if I caused you any actual hog related PTSD that's going to carry on past this event, I sincerely apologize. Once we finally caught up to you and revealed our punchline, I quickly realized from your reactions how stressed and angry you actually were, and felt a wave of disappointment, followed by remorse, followed by laughter from your humorous recounting of the story. As funny as the video of your reaction is, it is hard for me to watch for more than 2 seconds, as I seriously feel too bad to continue. When I consider the effort you put in to help with my 30th birthday surprise, I feel even worse. Thank you again for making that event such a success. I had so much fun. All the decorations and ideas were incredible, and I felt very grateful to have the privilege of calling you my friends. To repay you with pure terror and dread was not my intention, and I feel very bad for doing so. I promise I will try to make it up to you in some way to the best of my abilities in the future. I'm not sure what shape or form that will take yet, but please look forward to it. Sincerest apologies, Brad Lewis.